Hello, and welcome back to Miss Henderson's Life Skills class. I am Miss Henderson, and today I have a few topics I'd like to discuss and share with you. Um, just some tips and things, words of wisdom, I believe, and lessons about the skill of life. We have to navigate through this journey of life, and sometimes the little things we do help us accomplish bigger things. So, uh, simple living, simplicity of things that make a big impact. They may sound strange when I mention them to you, and I'll try to give reasons why I make these suggestions. Again, they're just suggestions. I don't think they're going to be life changing in that type of way. However, it could really impact your day. So we'll just go ahead and get started and see what you think. By the way, if you like what I'm sharing, please press the like button. Please subscribe and share and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I upload a new video. I do plan to upload one at least once or twice a week for this particular channel. I do have two other channels. One is So Forth and So On, and the other one is Nothing Wasted, Faith with Works Alive. So those are my two other other YouTube channels, and the content is different, so I wanted to share that with you. But today, this is Miss Henderson's Life Skills class. And our first topic is when we wake up in the morning. Well, one of the first things that I do before my feet even touch the floor, I'm not even fully awake, uh, I say, "Good morning and thank you, Lord." That's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. The next thing is, as I am getting out of the bed, I am making up my bed. I'm straightening the covers and pillows and so forth on my way out of the bed. So when I finally do get out of the bed, I can finish making up my bed, and that is my first accomplishment for the day. It's very important, to shake and air the sheets and fluff the pillows and just make your bed look nice. What it ends up being is a nice gift to yourself at the end of the day. You get up, you go out into the world to do your job or go to school or what have you, and the world has a lot to throw at you while you're out there. Well, at the end of the day, you have something comfy, cozy, beautiful, inviting, welcoming you home to rest your weary head and your weary body. So make up your bed as a gift to yourself when you return home and it's time to retire for the evening. Just a tip. The next thing I'd like to discuss is time. How it is one of our most precious and valuable resources. More valuable to some extent than money, because we can always recapture money. We can earn more money. We can get money back. If we lose it, we can get it again. However, time, once it's gone, it's gone. Never has there ever been in the history of time, and never will there ever be again in the history of time, Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. It's never happened before, and it'll never happen again. So on your Wednesday, February 16th, 2022, how did you spend it? How did you spend your time? There's a lot to that. Each day there should be some accomplishment. And the first accomplishment, as I mentioned earlier, is making up your bed. straightening up. Then your time, that your waking hours, what have you done? I mentioned to my students many times, some of them come to school and they tend to spend a lot of time on their phone as opposed to their studies. And my conversation with them, to them, is when you leave here at 2 o'clock or 3:30, what have you accomplished? You've gotten up early in the morning and washed up and come out into the cold weather and traveled all the way to school. What did you get for your efforts? Have you finished a chapter? Have you finished an assignment? Have you completed anything? What do you have to show for your day? You know how some people can work a number of years and they retire and they really have nothing to show for it? Well, we can break this down to the day. We can break it down even further to each hour. What have you accomplished in the last hour? And that's something we can pause and ask ourselves about. Another thing is timeliness. You know, a lot of people, arrive late. Or they want to extend a due date or time or a deadline or something. And I told them to treat time, as far as getting somewhere and doing something, as if they were going to catch a plane. If the plane says it leaves at 10 o'clock, no matter what your excuses or why you're not there or on that plane is leaving at 10 o'clock. So I tell them to trick their subconscious, trick their minds, trick themselves into the plane. I have to catch the plane. So if your class starts at 8 o'clock, you should be there 7:45. I know we've all heard to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. We can look at it that way. But respect that time. I asked them, if you were going to your favorite artist concert and it started at 8 o'clock, would you actually get to the concert at 8 o'clock? No, we got to get there and get our seats and, this, that, and the other. Right. You would probably be there 7:40, 7 or 7:15, so that you have time to park and walk to the stadium and find your seats and maybe get some snacks or what have you. Do that for everything else. If something starts at a certain time, school starts at our school, we have two sessions. One starts at 8:30, the other one starts at 10 o'clock. And some people walking in the door at 10:15, 10:30. The plane is gone. The plane is gone. You've missed information that was given at the beginning of the hour. Because not only are they late, then they have to go to the bathroom. Then they want a cup of juice. Then they have to find a seat. And by the time they get settled, I think there's about 15 minutes of class left. And that's a disservice to themselves. So when we arrive, when we plan to be somewhere, plan to be there at least 15 minutes early. That's a life skill. And if you're there at least 15 minutes early, you're on time. Now, I have to say, a lot of people who have gatherings at their homes or someplace like that, or, private parties and those kind of things, they don't like for the guests to arrive early, because 9 times out of 10, the host or hostess is still running around trying to get everything in order. And when you come to the party early, then you kind of throw them off a little bit, because now they have to entertain you and still put the finishing touches on what they were doing, and that can cause anxiety. Now, for the host or hostess, you would say give them the same advice. Well, you should be done with your preparation half hour before, because it is customary, without a doubt, that somebody's going to arrive early and throw you off and cause a little bit of anxiety. So I would say things like that, you can kind of come in a little bit later, unless it's a wedding or something that has to specifically start at a particular time. Work starts at a particular time. School starts at a particular time. The plane takes off at a particular time. Okay. Um, Another tip is going for your goals, achieving your goals, working toward your goals. First of all, you have to have a plan. This pie in the sky and just snatching dreams out the air, okay, no. You have to have a plan to make sure that it's really what you want to do, or is it just a pipe dream, this, that, and the other. Be honest with yourself. Be very honest with yourself and map it out. Have a plan for what your goal is. And I read a quote, and I'm sorry that I can't give credit for the quote, but this is not mine. I read it somewhere, and I'm sure I could Google it and look it up and find out who said it, and you can too. It says, your goal should scare you a little bit, but excite you a lot. So there's that goal. It's a little bit scary, but it's a whole lot exciting, and you're looking forward to it because it's something new, and it's, a little bit of butterflies and everything. When you have something exciting and something new, it's a little apprehension, but you're still going toward it because it's really what you want to do. So that is with your goal, and you go for your goal as if it's $10 billion. That means you're not letting anything stand between you and the goal you have set for yourself, because there are going to be distractions, uh, people, things, stuff is going to come up. Life is going to continue to happen, but you are going to have to go for that goal as if your life depended on it, because in essence it probably does. Your life, when I say your life depends on it, your livelihood, your standard of living, if you want to live this place or drive this or whatever your motivation is behind your goal, you're going to have to go for it, for your livelihood, to make you a happier person, a more joyful person, a more accomplished person. So go for your goals as if your life depends on it, because reaching your goal may be life-changing in a wonderful way. All right? So that's that bit of a little nugget, a little tidbit. Next thing I'd like to talk about, and I'm not going to go into a deep conversation about it. I'm just putting some things out there based on my observations as a teacher. And as we know, this is Black History Month. And by the way, I did make this outfit and the dress. It's a long dress. It's kind of like a maxi, just above the ankle, and it has a split in the front, a short split, long sleeves, and I made the bonnet or head wrap to match it. And more information about this is on the other channel, so forth and so on. Okay, that was a commercial break, so now we're back to Mrs. Henderson's life skills class. All right, so this is Black History Month. Yay! That's one of my favorite celebrations. It's also the time that I love to share information. Now, as we know, Black History Month is not meant to be the only time that we talk about Black history. It is a vehicle or tool to catapult us into the discussion of Black history. History is too rich and too deep to be completely covered in 1 month's time. And when you consider that most schools have their midwinter break in February, which also happens to be the shortest month of the year, you are whittled down to maybe 2 weeks of Black History Month. But this should spark and start something and start a conversation. It's a opportunity to start the conversation and keep it going, keep it rolling. And you can incorporate something, a tradition or a ritual or something in your home where you discuss something about Black history on a weekly or monthly basis or even a daily basis. But you want to go in depth and help your children and your community understand the history of Black people. We have to educate ourselves, understand who we are, how we got here, where we come from, why we are the way we are. And then once we know, we pass that information down to others so that they will know and they will continue to tell the story. And maybe we can turn a lot of things around and change some things ourselves within our community, among ourselves. We have some work to do. I'm a firm believer that we have some post-traumatic stress disorders that has gone generational, uh, that needs to be addressed. And that's only by confronting certain things, understanding and learning something things. Do not let our history and our culture fall by the wayside and become extinct. And it really shocked me that so many of my students, I teach high school, that don't know, they didn't know we have a Black national anthem, and they don't know it. They didn't know we had it, let alone know the words to lift every voice and sing. So that is something that I would encourage families to examine, our Black national anthem, and really review the lyrics of that and take those to heart and understand the meaning behind that. So that's one thing. Acknowledge the Black national anthem. The next thing many of my students were not aware of or didn't know about or don't know the meaning of, and I'm just going to go through a list here. NAACP. What is that? What is that? Is what I heard. I don't know what that is. I know they need to know. It's very important part of our history. The SCLC. These are conversations we need to have at home to ensure we cannot leave everything to the school system. We simply cannot. We have to take responsibility for educating our children ourselves. Take time with your children. Please. So we have the NAACP, the SCLC, and I just threw in the ACLU just for kicks and giggles. The Black Panther Party. Was this a house party that some people threw? What's the Black Panther Party? And I know that there is a controversy associated with Black Panther, some negative connotations associated with the Black Panther Party. But it's our responsibility to get the truth about the Black Panther Party and share it with our children so they really know what the Black Panther Party was organized, why they were organized, and what they did initially. Okay, that's very important. It's also extremely important for our children to know, truthfully, that African American history or Black history does not begin with slavery. That was a midpoint of our history. We had a long, deep, rich, fruitful, brilliant history long before slavery. And that's what makes it so difficult, because we were such a powerful, strong people, well organized and together people, until this abomination of slavery arose. and we stayed there for many years. And even after the emancipation and we were freed, there are still injustices that go on with us, but we are still suffering from the effects of the impact of Willie Lynch. So if you take the time to Google and pull up and read the Willie Lynch letter, The Making of a Slave, read through that letter and what this man shares with plantation owners on how to control their slaves, how to make slaves of people, and how to control them. Now you notice that the individual's name that I mentioned, his name is Willie Lynch. I think there are some other topics and terms that we should rethink and figure out where they come from. One being window shopping. What is window shopping? Another term, picnic. Where picnic come from? As I believe I mentioned to you on a different video, but I'll mention it here again just in case I did not. I would encourage you to take the time to look up the legend of Anna, A-N-N-A, Illinois. Anna, Illinois. Google that and read about that. I encourage you to pick up a copy of the book by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, W-E-L-S-I-N-G. The book is The ISIS Papers. I would encourage you to read that. I would encourage you to visit withoutsanctuary.org regarding James Allen, an American picker, and about the postcards he found. And again, that will probably cause you to rethink the term picnic. All right? And then Sundown Towns and Lies My Teacher Told Me by James Lowen. Two very interesting books. What is a sundown town? And do you live in one? Very interesting stuff. I will leave you with that information there to research. I want you to search and seek for yourself. You know, you dine at the table of knowledge. You have to pick up the fork and feed yourself. All right? Because once you feed it, then you digest it and you know for yourself. Don't just take what Miss Henderson says. You read for yourself. Window shopping, you'll probably never call it that again once you understand where that came from. You'll just call it browsing. I'm just browsing, or I'm just looking. And we're now window shopping. And we definitely not going on a picnic. We can dine on the lawn on a blanket, but we just won't call it a picnic. Okay? Lastly, the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History in Detroit, Michigan. If you have not had a chance to visit this wonderful structure, please put it on your bucket list. Make it a point. If you live in Detroit, you definitely should visit, or near Detroit and can make a day trip there. You definitely should visit. The exhibits are exquisite, well thought out, well done, and you actually get to take the journey from being kings and queens through being captured and kidnapped to being enslaved and bought and sold and traded to escaping to freedom. You walk through that at the museum. That's just one of the exhibits. And it is an exhibit that you experience and you go through, and it's very humbling. It's not for the faint at heart, but it's necessary. And there are so many other historic places in Detroit regarding the Underground Railroad and different stations, so to speak, as they call them, and journeying even over into Canada from Detroit across the Detroit River into freedom. I encourage everyone, not just black people, everyone, to visit the museum and to learn more about black history so that we can understand each other. I encourage all cultures to learn about other cultures so that we can interact with one another with respect and dignity, and understand why some things with some people are offensive and other things are not. We have to value one another. So I'm not just saying the whole world should just stop for Black History Month, but we should acknowledge all people's history and cultures and understand them. Seek to understand and not so much to be understood. The prayer of St. Francis Assisi has always been one of my favorites. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. And where there is despair, hope. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. So that's all I have for today. And I hope that you found some value in the words that I spoke today. God bless you. I love you. And please consider pressing the like button and subscribing with notifications, sharing, and I really appreciate some feedback in the comment section. Thank you so much. Have a good day.